Lawyer Clarence Darrow get involved in a grisly Vermont murder case in the 1920s. A new book by former Supreme Court Justice and Attorney General Jeff Amistoy explores just that. For this week's episode of the 802 News podcast, he joins host Mark Johnson to talk about it. Let's take a listen.
This case is based on a 1926 murder in Windsor, Vermont. A sensational, notorious case in which the victim was a woman named Cecilia Gullivan, and she was probably the highest-ranking female executive in the state of Vermont at a time when female executives were very rare. So right away, the fact that she was a murder victim was news, not just in Vermont, but really all over the country.
Mark joins us now. Mark, thank you for being here. To start, let's talk about the book's title, Wintertime, A Secret Pledged, A Severed Head, and the murder that brought America's most famous lawyer to Vermont. Quite the mouthful, but it definitely hooks you in immediately.
Well, as I said to Jeff Amistoy, who would pass up a book that has severed head in the title? What really captured Jeff Amistoy's attention on this, Jeff Amistoy, former Attorney General here in Vermont, served then as the Chief Justice of the Vermont Supreme Court, was the appearance of Clarence Darrow, who he goes way back, but was a real celebrity in the 1920s, had been involved in some very prominent national cases, including the Scopes monkey trial, where he went up against William Jennings Bryan, who was a four-time presidential candidate. And Clarence Darrow was a big deal, as Jeff describes him. He was like having Babe Ruth come here to Vermont, and was a great orator. And if Clarence Darrow was involved in a case, even if it was a hopeless case, you had a prayer.
Yeah, and we talk about Darrow, America's most famous lawyer. Why did he get involved, or do we have to read the book to find out?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint of it. His son, Clarence Darrow's son, went to Dartmouth College, and he was involved in an incident where he was not at fault, but there was a young child that died as a result of his horse getting loose. And the mother of the victim in that case, he gave her a letter and said, you know, I'm terribly sorry about what happened, and if anything ever happens to anybody in your family, that my father will come and help them and represent them. So she appears, Clarence Darrow was an advocate against the death penalty. Clarence Darrow, after he retired, came to Dartmouth and gave a speech, and after the speech, the mother of John Winters, who was accused in this case, came up to him and showed him the letter, and he agreed to represent her son.
Yeah, and why did Jeff Amistoy take this project on? Well,
this is I think one of the great parts of the story. So Jeff Amistoy, as I mentioned, worked in the Attorney General's office, was working on a case, was trying to find a precedent for a case that he was writing up about, and came across Clarence Darrow's name, and the Winters case came up as one of the precedents that he was going to cite, and he almost fell out of his chair. He said, you know, Clarence Darrow would argue a case here in Vermont. So he did some research, find out about the case, and decided in his now retirement to write about it.
Sounds like a good one. I guess we'll have to read it. If you would like to read it, you can buy a copy of the book from the Vermont Historical Society. You can also listen to the full podcast on our website, WCAX.com. Mark, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cam.